The movie starts with a flashback. The father wakes up and goes into the bathroom, turning on the water taps. The film doesn't have character names, so we'll just refer to them as the father and his wife. At that moment, his wife wakes up too and goes to see what he's doing. But she hears the sound of screaming and a commotion coming from outside the house. This wakes the father up from his sleep because the previous scene was a dream. His son is sleeping next to him on the floor, and they're covered from the rain and storms. After the rain stops and the day breaks, the father takes his son in their hand-pulled cart and they continue their journey south. The father believes this place will be safe and that there will be plenty of food and water there. We discover here that the entire world is now ruined and destroyed, and life on Earth is pretty much over. The weather gets colder day by day. There are no animals or birds, and very few plants. There are currently only 3 types of humans left on Earth. The first are refugees looking for anything to eat, like this father and his son. The second are armed gangs, and the third are cannibals, which are the most common type. We go back to the father and son. After they rest a bit from walking, they light a fire at night to get warm. The father reads to his son from some books he has to educate him, since the son was born after the world changed and never got to go to school or get an education. While they're sleeping, they wake up to the heat of a fire and a commotion in the forest, so they have to take their hand-pulled cart and look for a new place. They walk a little way and find a small house. They cross its fence and enter with caution. Inside the house, the father and son look for anything to eat or drink, but unfortunately, they don't find anything. The father doesn't want to look anymore because he's sure he won't find anything, but they see that the house's owners are not in their beds, and this indicates 2 possibilities. The first is that the owners were afraid and were slowly dying of hunger, so they took their own lives to get some peace. The second possibility, which might be closer to the truth, is that the family was afraid that the cannibals would find them, and if they did, they wouldn't just kill them, they would also eat them. Because of this, the father tells his son they have to leave. They go outside the house and continue on their way. They walk a bit through the forest, and the father has a revolver with only 2 bullets. He tells his son that each of them has a bullet. He instructs him that if he ever feels in danger, or if someone, like a cannibal or a gang member, is going to kidnap and torture him, he should take his own life so he doesn't suffer at their hands before he dies. He shows him how to do it. He tells him to put the gun in his mouth and raise it up, then shoot. However, despite all this, the son is scared of this situation ever happening because it's a difficult choice that could end his life. We return to another flashback, which is a dream of the father. We see him with his wife before she passed away a few years ago. At that time, the world had begun to end, so disasters started happening on Earth. The sun started to disappear, the cold increased, and the sky began to get cloudy because of all the fires and explosions. At that point, people divided into groups. The son hadn't been born yet. The father and his wife were staying at their house and never went outside. In the dream, we see him with his wife before they had their son, in their house, preparing food and giving it to her because she's about to give birth. But as soon as she starts to eat, she goes into labor. So the father has to deliver the baby himself because, of course, there are no hospitals or any safety to go outside the house. The father wakes up from his dream to the sound of a truck coming towards them. He wakes his son up quickly, grabs him, and they hide among the trees in a small hidden spot. The father pulls out his gun in case someone attacks them. The truck arrives at the place where the father and son were. Many armed men get out and start looking around for anything to eat because they are cannibals. One of them goes between the trees to relieve himself and is surprised by the father pointing his gun at his head, with his son standing next to him. The father threatens him, telling him that if he turns to his friends, he'll shoot him in the head. The man tries to lure him by saying they have lots of food in the truck and he must be hungry, and the boy is hungry too. The father asks him what they eat, and he says they eat everything. The father gets more scared of him. One of the men fixes the truck's engine, and its sound gets a bit louder. The father gets distracted and looks toward the sound. The man takes advantage of this opportunity and lunges at the son, tying him up and putting a knife to his throat. The father uses the loud engine noise as cover and shoots the man in the head. He dies instantly. The son faints from the shock. The father carries his son and runs away because the others heard the gunshot and are entering the forest to look for the father and son. But the father and son are able to escape them. It starts to rain heavily. The father catches his breath, wakes up his son, and reassures him. Then they both continue on their way, but they hide again because they see cannibals coming into the darkness to look for them. Each one of them is holding a torch to light up the place, but they don't find the father and son because they're hiding well. After they leave, the father takes his son and washes his face, and he reassures him and tells him not to be afraid. He promises him that he will never abandon him and that he will kill anyone who tries to hurt him. The son cries because the situation was difficult, and he's still young and doesn't fully understand that people are of different kinds. After that, they get up and keep walking. They look for a cart to pull and put their belongings on, because the one they had was left behind when they ran away. We go back to another flashback of the father with his wife. Their son had been born and had grown a little. They were sitting together, and the mother shows her husband that they only have 2 bullets left. She tells him that she is afraid of the cannibals, because if they find them, they will rape her and then kill her and their son and eat them. She puts the 2 bullets in the gun and asks her husband to kill her and get it over with, claiming that the families around them have done the same so that no one from their family would fall prey to these savages. But the father promises her that they will survive and that they will never give up. We go back to the present. The father and son go to an abandoned mall and look for any food and water. The father finds a broken soda fridge, and inside it, he finds only 1 can of soda. When they don't find anything else in the mall, they leave and go toward a bridge. The father looks with his binoculars at a truck on top of the bridge to see if there are people there. When he's sure that no one is there, he takes his son and they go get on the truck. They sleep there until the next day. We go back to another flashback to the night when the mother decided to leave her son with his father and go to an unknown place. She did this because she was tired of waiting to die or waiting for someone to come and kill them. At that time, the father couldn't stop her and make her stay with him. She advised him to take their son and go south because that place is safe. We learn afterwards that she died the next day. They wake up the next day and leave the truck. They arrive at a waterfall and decide to change their clothes and take a bath. The son is very happy because this is the first time he's ever seen a waterfall in his life. After that, they continue their journey. The father spots a large house from a distance and checks it out with his binoculars as usual to make sure it's safe. When he is sure that there are no people standing near the house, he and his son go to the house. The father first looks through the windows to make sure the house is empty. Then he opens one of the windows and he and his son go in. They find many pairs of shoes and travel bags belonging to people, and they keep looking for a while for anything to eat, but unfortunately they don't find anything. But the father discovers a door to an underground cellar and finds it locked with a padlock. He gets an axe from the tool shed, breaks the lock, and opens the door. He and his son go down, and he lights a torch to light the way. They are very surprised to find many people locked up, and their bodies are weak from a lot of hunger. They also find pieces of human meat on the floor. The father and son get scared and go back toward the door to get out. But one of these people wants to grab the son from his father to eat him, but the father hits him, pushes him away, and gets out with his son quickly. He closes the cellar door on these people again, but without a lock. Then he gets a table and puts it on top of the door so that no one can get out. As soon as the father and son get out of the cellar, they see armed people approaching the house from behind the window. He discovers that they are the owners of the house because they open the door and enter normally. So the father takes his son and they go upstairs to hide. The armed men enter the house and a woman with them goes upstairs to go to the bathroom. The father hears her as she goes up the stairs, and he takes out his gun and points it at his son's head so that if someone discovers them, he'll kill him right away instead of having them kidnap and torture him. But by chance, they are saved for a second time because the people locked up in the cellar are able to push the door from underneath. But by chance, they are saved for a second time because the people locked up in the cellar are able to push the door from underneath and the table moves. This distracts the armed people with them so they can close the cellar door again. The woman has already gone back down. At that moment, the father takes the opportunity and goes down from upstairs and leaves through the house window with his son. They go outside the house, and one of them looks with his binoculars at the forest to his right and left, but he doesn't find anyone. After that, the father and son continue walking, and night falls on them, so they light a fire and rest a bit. They eat 2 grilled rats. Here, the son asks his father if they can eat humans like them so they don't die of hunger. His father tells him that they haven't gotten to the point where they are dying of hunger, and that they would never do that because they are good people, not evil. The next day, they reach the area where the father was born and lived as a child. He enters his family's house there with his son. The father begins to remember his memories in this house, and they decide to stay there for a while. The son spots someone outside looking at them from the window of the house in front of them. When the young man sees the son, he runs away, scared. The son calls out to him to wait and not leave, but the young man has already run away out of fear. Here, the father goes out and runs to catch his son first after seeing him leave. The son tells him that there was a young man here, but his father doesn't believe him and yells at him for running away alone because he could have been in danger. They then continue on their way, and the father keeps looking for a secret door or anything useful. The father discovers a hidden door, so he gets a rock and breaks the lock with it. The father goes down to the cellar first. He finds that the cellar is full of canned food, drinks, and lots of food stored. His son goes down, and they are very happy. They start eating and drinking a lot to make up for the period of hunger they went through. So that the father can secure this cellar, he goes and gets a mattress from the house and puts it on top of the cellar door to hide it. The next day, the father and son heat up water and bathe in the house's bathroom. After that, the father shaves himself and also shaves his son. At night, while they are eating dinner downstairs in the cellar, they hear the voice of a man with a dog passing by above the cellar door. The father is afraid they will discover the cellar door and go down to them. Because of this, the next day, the father decides they should leave this place after taking some canned food and drinks with them. They get their cart ready and leave. As they're walking, they find an old man walking in front of them. The father is worried about him, but the son feels sorry for the old man. So he begs his father to give him some food because he looks like he's starving. The father actually feeds the old man, and they all walk together until night falls. They rest a little and light a fire and talk for a while. The father shows the old man his gun to scare him if he thinks about hurting them. The next day, they say goodbye to the old man, because the father refuses to let him continue with them, even though his son tells him that he's a good man. They continue on their way and reach a new area. The father spots skulls hanging from wooden sticks fixed above the ground, and also a lot of blood and footprints. He runs away from this place. He takes his son to leave the area, but they find armed people in front of them, running after a woman and her daughter to kill them. The father and son quickly hide. After that, they continue walking, but suddenly, trees around them start falling on their own. They avoid them. Night comes, and they go into an abandoned church. The next morning, they continue walking. The father shows his son on a map that they are very close to the ocean shore. The son has never seen the sea before, so his father describes it to him as beautiful and blue. But when they arrive at the shore, they find it's neither beautiful nor blue, because it's like the rest of the ruined earth. They spend the night on the beach under a small tent that the father made. The next day, the father leaves his son and goes into the water to swim to a sunken ship near the shore to look for anything that can be eaten there. At the same time, a thief comes and steals the tent, the father's shoes and clothes, and also the cart they were pulling with all the food and water in it. When the father returns to the shore, he has a rescue gun from the ship with him. As soon as he finds his belongings have been stolen, he goes crazy from what happened. His son apologizes to him, saying he was sleeping. The father takes his son and runs after the thief and threatens him with the gun. The thief gets scared, and the father takes all his things back from him and also makes him take off his clothes and shoes, and he leaves him naked in the cold. Here the son is very upset at his father's behavior. He wants to tell him that he is evil, but then the son is able to appeal to his father on behalf of the thief. So they go back to look for him again. When they don't find him, they leave his clothes, shoes, and a can of food for him on the ground. They continue their journey. After that, they find an area with houses, but these houses are also abandoned. There, 2 arrows hit the father. He finds their source is a window in a house in front of them, so he shoots a flare from the rescue gun toward that window. It hits a man, burns him, and kills him. The father quickly goes up to them and finds the man dead and his wife crying next to him, and she tells the father that they thought he was coming to kill them, which is why her husband shot him with the arrow. The father leaves her and goes back down to take his son, but they don't continue walking before the father treats the wounds on his body from the 2 arrows. To stitch his wound, he uses a stapler. They continue walking after that, but not for long because the father is very tired and his health has deteriorated greatly. He can't keep walking and gets sick. His son takes care of him, treats his wounds, and feeds and gives him water to get better. But the father is about to die, so he tells his son to continue the journey to the south alone. He also advises him to never let go of the gun and to not trust just anyone. The next morning, the son wakes up and finds that his father has died. The son cries over his father and doesn't know what he'll do without him. He covers him where he is, and the son takes the gun from his father's pocket and gets the only bullet left ready to be shot. He goes and stands on the ocean shore. He finds a man coming toward him, so he points the gun at him, but the man makes him understand that he won't hurt him. The son lowers the gun and asks him if he's a good person. The man tells him that he'll find that out for himself, but he reassures him and tells him that they have children just like him and that he will be safe with them, or he can stay here with his dead father. The son chooses to continue the journey with them, especially since he finds that they are a family. The man's wife is very happy with the son. The son says goodbye to his father, and he kisses his forehead before he leaves him and walks away. the son walks with them, and the movie ends. If you liked the video, like it and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next one.